Hey everyone, welcome to Rise and Thrive. We are so excited for you to join us. I am so excited, really excited about this session. I have my friend Samantha. Can you say hi, Samantha?
Hi.
No, say hi, Samantha.
Hi, Samantha.
Okay, very good. So we're going to have a good time. Samantha and I met back in,
No.
almost said 1915.
No, 2020.
What was it, 2020? Is that, we were both working at Cox Health.
So I started in 2020 at Cox Health, and
Okay.
then 2021 is where we met.
Okay, but yes, so it seems like a while ago though, but it has been.
It has
6
been.
years.
Yes.
Yeah. So really excited. She has an amazing story, and she has been a lifesaver for me and my dog. Especially this past weekend. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I love that puppy dog, by the way.
Yeah, she's awesome. She went to the vet today. I can edit this out, but she went to the vet today. I thought she had gained weight because she looked like she had gained weight, but it was actually all her fur. She had only had 2 pounds extra than what she was, but her harness was still on her. They didn't take the harness off on the scale. So I think she's maintained.
Perfect.
So that was good. Good news. All right. Well, we'll get back on track now. Okay. All right. So Samantha has an amazing story. I'm so excited for you to hear it. We're going to do a 3-part series, and I'm just going to turn it over to you. This is unscripted. Okay. Our podcasts are always unscripted. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You feel free, where you want to start, where you want to go with this first episode. Sure. Okay?
Fantastic.
I'll be quiet.
So the background of where I came from was from a single parent. Her background was of domestic violence between her mom and dad, and that we spent a lot of time there. So there was some things seen and heard that I don't remember. I just know that we were always on eggshells at their house. And that's never a good thing for a child to be on eggshells. Fast forward as I'm growing up, going through the school system, I was never in a whole lot of big time trouble like we hear about on the TV, but there was enough acting up in class or enough conversation that they knew I was highly intelligent, and they just didn't know why I wasn't thriving in the classroom. And so I overheard a lot of conversations in which teachers basically spoke very negatively, didn't speak life into me. My mom spent many nights crying about where I was, not knowing how to do any better because she was a single parent from a middle class family that really didn't deal with these issues, because back then it just wasn't an issue. They just figured it out. And so by the time I graduated high school, we had teachers coming up after I graduated saying, I think you have this, I think you have this. We totally failed. The system totally failed you. You should have had more resources to be more positive and overcoming and achieving, and you could do so much more. Just know that you're not stupid, is the gist of it. So that led to 2 failed marriages because I was undiagnosed neurodivergent. They also were neurodivergent and undiagnosed. So that's a very, it's like gasoline and fire, not a good thing. And
especially at the same time.
Yeah. So that led to a lot of domestic violence, a lot of mental, spiritual, financial abuse, and feeling trapped and not knowing what to do. The last one resulted in the police actually getting involved, separating everybody, figuring it out, and then that led to a lot of navigating the legal system, which is never easy to begin with. But when there are children involved, it's triple the difficulties. After 10 years of navigating that, dealing with that, I am where I am today because I had people who stepped up without pay, who were like, hey, I think you have a learning disability. You're not stupid. You just do it differently. And it's okay that you do it differently.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
when you say a learning disability, it sounds like to me more so a learning ability.
It is
differently.
It's a learning ability, but I process all that complicated information way faster and different than everybody else. But when I go to communicate it back to you in writing, which is the key in academics, is you have to present it in writing. And I had words flip-flop, parts of sentences put in the wrong section, and nobody realized that it was multiple forms of dyslexia, math, complicated math the same way. Like I said, I was very blessed to have people in my life who stepped up while I was going to college and getting my degrees. I went, no, let's go get you diagnosed. Let's go get you accommodations. And if it wasn't for those accommodations specifying how I learn, I would not have a 4-year degree at this time.
I will say this, and and we'll probably go into this maybe in another episode, but when we met, I was totally amazed by your intelligence, by how you look at things. Some of the videos we did for Wellness for Warriors back in the day, I was just blown away by it. And I feel like here in this country, maybe around the world, I don't know that, okay? But it seems like people that are different, we think of it to be a negative when it can actually be a positive.
It's a total positive. And after I met you, after I got involved with Wellness for Warriors, I got plugged in with the right ministry team who deals with trauma of any kind, whether it's grief, PTSD, human trafficking, healing, drug addiction, whatnot. And they have a systematic process that they walk you through in dealing with that. And if you really do need a good Christian counselor, they have those resources to plug you in with. But at first, it's got to start at the heart. It's got to start at the spirit. It's got to start aligning yourself with the Lord to get to that point of saying, hey, I need a Christian counselor. I can't get past X.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, because a lot of people out there are stuck.
Right.
Okay, whether they're faith people or not, people get stuck in maybe their past, maybe their current situation, if you will.
Yes.
So your story, you have, in my mind, and I've always thought this, whether I've said it or not, I felt you would be a great business owner.
Yes.
I just felt like, other people were holding you back. And once you figure out how to start your own business, it's going to be awesome. And always thought of that. I mean, we've never really talked about that, but that was always in the back of my mind. But there are people out there that are watching this that are stuck. How do you get unstuck?
Pause. You literally need to put yourself on pause. You literally need to put yourself on pause and write the who, the what, the where, the when, and why, and the how questions. Who's involved? Myself, my spouse, my kids, the banks, the pastor. Like, who is it that I need to deal with? Like, figure that out first. And if you get overwhelmed by that, just focus on the who first. Pause after you figure out who the who is. What is it that you want to do? What do you think the Lord is calling you to? Like, if you have when I say you will know that you will know that you will know it's the Lord. So if you watch NCIS, you always hear them say Agent Gibbs is a head slap. Well, the Lord can do the same thing to you spiritually. And trust me, it hurts just as much spiritually as it does physically. So he can do that. So when you get down to the what, you first go to the Lord and say, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And I first thought I was supposed to be a teacher in special education. And I put my heart and soul into all that. Well, it turned out in the midst of all this, I got beat up by a student and had a severe concussion, had other damages that nobody knew about until after the fact. Went to go do some of the practicums and stuff and learned real quick that academics is no longer the academics that I remember of people working cooperatively together in a lot of schools. There's a lot of healing that needs to go on in the schools.
For
they
sure.
have a lot of trauma that they need to work through as well. Not that they're not teaching or doing a good job, but they have their own issues they need to work on.
One of the conversations I've had this week was how a lot of the challenges people face, like at the job, are really because of what's happening at home.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that bring that into the job because they don't know how to compartmentalize, how to leave it at home, because, especially if it's an abusive situation.
Absolutely.
If it's, so I feel like you said a key word: pause. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Be still and know that I am God."
Exactly.
But this can be used for people that have faith or no faith.
Right.
So, pause. We'll start crying. We do that a lot on this podcast.
Hey, I'm a crier, but it hasn't started yet.
Had a conversation just yesterday because there was things that I had buried. Like, I want to finish this book.
Right.
It's been stagnant for almost 3 years. And so my friend, he and I talked yesterday morning early, and he said, let's put this on paper. Let's finish the book. Let's do these other projects you're wanting to do, but let's put a timeline on them. So I'm focused on getting those things done.
That's called a deadline.
Yeah.
Or a due date, as we say in academics, for somebody to accomplish a goal or a project.
So to get unstuck, we pause.
We pause.
Sometimes that seems like we're still stuck, though.
Nope. Once you pause and you ask yourself the who, by a certain due date, deadline, time frame, and you have that answer, I would say celebrate that accomplishment. The small accomplishment.
I like that.
As I learned how to navigate the academic world and the professional world at the same time, which is really tricky when you're neurodivergent. Let me tell you, people go, oh, you're weird, you're strange, and you're sitting here trying to navigate and you're overwhelmed and you're crying at your desk and you've got people in management going, is she okay to work? When in fact, they're the reason why you're crying.
Yeah.
And they just don't know it. It's complicated. It's tricky. So I learned to celebrate the small wins one day at a time.
Let's focus on that for just a minute. And I know the world in which you live now.
Yes.
I know you're helping a lot of people.
Yes.
I know there are a lot of people out there struggling with their past, with their current situation.
Absolutely.
But focusing on those little victories, one thing at a time. My grandma, God rest her soul, she said in her 90s when we were talking, and she said, Carrie, whenever life gets hard and you're not sure and you're frustrated or you're depressed, get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write everything good in your life. Everything. Be specific. I'm alive. I have shelter, even if it's just a car. Write down everything good and then write down everything bad. And she goes, I promise you, 9 times out of 10, the good will outweigh the bad.
Yes.
If you're detailed about it.
Yes.
Okay.
And one way you can celebrate your small wins is something called give me 3 things that are good today.
Okay. What does that look like?
So on the days I was struggling, I would either reach out to my kid because she was also struggling, or I say kid, the remaining child at home. And the rest of them had flown the coop at that point, been independent. And, I'm very happy that they are independent and doing so well and thriving. That was my goal. Thrive. And
you accomplished that. I mean, it happened, right?
It happened, but it happened with a lot of people helping out, because neurodivergent parenting of yourself or any anybody else in the house or having a relationship is complicated.
So is it vital for people that are stuck, that want to move forward, to have the right people in their circle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I did not start thriving until the right people came in at the right time, or as I used to call it, the divine appointment time.
Yeah.
Because I went from failing college to hitting the honor roll. And then when I graduated with the 4-year degree, and the person over my programming and the accommodations lady never told me I was magna cum laude, honor society, the entire time.
Wow.
I never knew that I had made that until the day I graduated.
Oh, wow.
So I made it even sweeter. And here am I trying to walk out. I'm bawling, holding up to people in the crowd that are there to see me, and I'm going, "My honor society!" Like, and I'm still bawling, and they're like, "Walk." And getting the right people at the right time in the right place is key. You may not know that particular person involved in your life is not the person that needs to move you forward.
How do you find those good people? And when you talk about divine appointments, when you're talking about being in the right place at the right time, when you talk about how everything comes into place, but when you're in a position where you're stuck or you're frustrated or you really don't have a vision for the future, how do you find those people? Where do you find them? How do you connect with them?
First is knowing that you need help. And it takes strength. You're not weak when you ask for help. You're actually stronger than you know by saying, I need help. I need to talk to someone. And not even give it, I say this in a positive light, not give a crap about everybody's opinions and thoughts about you asking for help.
When did asking for help become a bad thing, though?
I feel like our society globally went from a village mentality and it being okay, hey, I don't know how to do this set of skills to survive, but can you teach me? Or in many villages around the world and health systems, instead of sending new parents home by themselves with a brand new baby, they have no idea how to handle that transition. They have it built in that someone comes in on a daily basis to help them. And they get 6 months to a year off, paid by their health system to be at home with that child and to learn to transition life with a kid or several kids. And here in America, we're more of an individualized society where we do not believe in lifting one another up and thinking that you should just be able to figure it out or it's self-explanatory. Nothing is self-explanatory in from what I've seen.
I like the fact that you were able to see the need. I need people in my life to help me through this. And I want to encourage our audience members that we're not built to go through this journey alone. I mean, whether we're in a relationship like boyfriend, girlfriend, or in a marriage, or just good friends, we need people in our life that are going to encourage us, help guide us. I can tell you, my grandma that I talk about a lot, she was one of my, just big cheerleaders. And there was a period of time in my life where I got confused. And that's a whole nother story that will be in my book that I'm trying to finish. But there was a period of time in my life where I just lost direction. But to have people in your corner, man, it just makes a huge difference.
It really, really does. And like, you saw me after 5 years of work, and you've been with me on the last half of that journey. And God has strategically placed people along the way to get me to where I need to be. And I will say this, if it wasn't for his strategic planning and knowing who I needed, when I needed it, and how I needed it, I would not be where I am today.
I love it. So we're going to finish this episode.
Okay.
Because you were at a point in your life where you were stuck.
Yes.
And then I've seen you blossom to where you're impacting a lot of lives today. And it's so exciting.
Yes.
So I want to share this. I'm going to steal it from my pastor friend, Buddy. And he just said this today to a group of over 100 people. And he said, whether you're a person of faith or not, give it a shot. Mm-hmm. He said, if you've been hurt by religion, if you've been hurt by the church, it's usually because of a stupid person and not God.
Absolutely. I back that statement up 100%.
So for me, I want to keep my eyes on Jesus.
Right.
If you're out there struggling, whether you're people of faith or lack of faith, I'm going to use my friend Buddy's, story today. Give it a shot. Look to something that's greater than you. Because too many times when we're just focusing on us, we miss all that's around us.
Yes.
So this morning, I love coming here early in the mornings.
I did see that you were here quite early.
Very early. And the sunrise now is getting earlier and earlier. Mm-hmm. And it's so beautiful coming over that hill. And it's amazing. But had I chosen to just stay in my office, but I made it a point to go out there at a certain time to see the beauty that was around me.
Yes.
And I think that pausing helps us to move forward.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break, but I'm excited about this series.
I am too. I think it'll help a lot of people get unstuck and
I like it.
Take a step, not a bunch of steps, a step to get unstuck.
Well, we'll dig a little bit deeper in that in just a minute.